Chinese health authorities are still working to identify the virus behind a pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan.
How contagious the virus is. Can it spread without people showing symptoms?
Symptoms like cough, you'll have a fever, and shortness of breath.
Acute respiratory distress syndrome is a condition that stops oxygen from reaching the organ.
More than 535,000 lives have been lost.
Just stay at home.
There have now been 11.4 million cases of COVID-19.
Honestly, at the start, I felt like I didn't really care that much because I thought it was just going to be another virus that's just going to go away. It was very worrying as days went by because I saw shops closing, roads being closed, states were also being closed. So as I said, as the days went by, it felt very, very real to me. Everything just seemed hectic at the start, especially at the start. Everything seemed hectic. It just didn't feel normal anymore.
I wasn't that worried because I didn't think it was that serious because we've never experienced a pandemic. So when things got very, very serious in Malaysia, I was like, oh, okay, this is really serious. We have to stay at home and everything. And I was pretty worried for my family, not only here, but like in other states and other countries. So, and also was quite worried about like how will we live like in this new normal, so to speak.
As a final year student, what I'm actually worried about now is my graduation. I don't know like when the graduation ceremony is going to happen, as there's still no confirmation date on it as of now.
I had lecturers coming back from overseas and also students from China with us, you know, and we thought it's just another very bad flu, very, very bad flu. That's what we thought, you know, you don't know these things. And by the time, as we moved closer, the MCO was announced on the 18th, but just about a week before that, we began to get the information from the ministry and so forth. They sent us this early information, like a warning, you know, like an early warning that there is going to be this MCO, that you have to work from home and you need to be prepared. This, shall we say, this wind of change that's about to come. Nobody, you know, could imagine this or fathom this.
First day of class was very different. It was very, very different because I was happy, unnecessarily happy, because I get to wake up late. Basically, I don't have to like wake up extra early because I have to avoid the jams. At the end of the first day of that class, I realized, man, this is gonna make me very lazy. I'm not gonna feel like I'm in class. I'm at my home. I'm at most comfortable at my home. It was new.
I felt quite happy and sad at the same time. Happy is because I get to learn new things online rather than going physically, but also sad because I can't see my friends in campus, and I can't imagine myself not going to campus for my final semester since I'm going to do my final year project. So kind of happy and sad at the same time.
Newly, when we got the instruction to have all our classes completely online, it was a bit worrying or because of the uncertainty, we got a lot of help from the institution, from tailors, through e-learning and the future learning office, etc., to how to use the various technologies. The other part of the uncertainty or the concern was whether and how students would take to this, and how well we could engage them on this online platform.
There were rigorous webinars and powwow sessions that we had, which was very good. I think the support among peers was very, was very apparent during the MCO, and it's still going on right now. Every week we have new clinics, we have new sessions that any newbies can join.
What we did is basically did some webinars that focused on teaching in the online environment. How do you give feedback, for instance? How do you get engagement? How do you actually break the ice and engage students and work in this environment, which is a different one for both parties.
None of us are used to it. We're just used to going to school. Oh, this is our class. This is where it is. This is how long it's gonna be. But now suddenly I have to wake up and then use this app that I've never used before, and do it in this format that I've never done it in before. Learn things in a way that I never really learned before. It's difficult to get used to it. Yeah, but as time goes on, we have to lah.
All my lectures were all asynchronized, so the students could choose whenever they were ready to actually look at the videos. Times crashed, of course, because there was a huge amount of people going into Zoom. Zoom was already connected to Times, but we were actually using our own personal Zoom accounts. We were just lucky that the students were patient with all of that.
We've got 600 staff at the university and 11,000 students. So I saw working with staff was probably one of our best options. We set up clinics that they could go to ELA to redesign different parts and do more of the technical aspects. We looked at empowering them with individual licenses of Zoom, the use of Teams and training in that area.
I have a few classes in Zoom called e-learning. Honestly, as a final year student point of view, it's very hard because we are not seeing each other face to face. It's not in a physical class. So it's like they try to help, but that's so much they can help.
So for me that study media and communication and I want to become a broadcast journalist, it's really important to get to use the TV studios, radio studios, professional cameras. So right now I don't have the chance to use them. So for a broadcast student, that's a big disadvantage, not using Taylor's facilities. I was hoping to meet new people, new classmates, teacher, another way of learning. I also was excited to stay at Taylor's with using all facilities. But at the same time, online classes, I'm learning how to edit with my laptop. I'm learning how to use more my laptop, how to do self-learning. I record myself everything, I edit myself everything.
My lecturers now have to double up all of their preparations. Very intense because their families were at home. Working from home sounds cool, but we have families, yeah? Everybody has families, young children who are at home, etc., and limited space sometimes. Not everybody is fortunate to have their own bedroom, to work at or their own home office. Many people work from in the living room, kids are running around, they have to prepare meals. This is the reality of life. for me, it became the blurring of boundaries between professional and private lives. It merged.
Some friends who had some bad connectivity at their side, so it was quite tiresome for them because they had to always reconnect, and like you can actually see them keep on reconnecting because, like example, Zoom, you can actually see them reconnecting, and sometimes they have to disconnect, reconnect. So I felt like it was very annoying and tiring for them.
Sometimes there's Wi-Fi problems. Sometimes I couldn't really hear the lecture because they have Wi-Fi problems. So it was like a lot of connectivity issues, and sometimes people didn't know how to use the softwares like Teams or Zoom. So yeah, that was pretty hard on that side.
So some of the technological limitations have been quite disturbing, where what I mean here is that some students keep being unable to have good connections, so can't actually have their webcams on. So sometimes it's just, you know, how it's on Zoom, just a black screen with their names on it. And that's happening quite often. Yeah? So that even cuts down that minimal face-to-face engagement.
My biggest concern is, oh my God, what's going to happen to my students first? Always local students, international students, students all over the country, because I was concerned about the connections, the internet connections. I was aware that it was lagging. Even my system sometimes go what I call kukubara, you know, it's kind of stable, you know, those things. I was so worried something happens to my laptop, you know, everybody was texting me about those things.
Many of them had problems because of the bandwidth thingy, so everything was really, really slow. It was very difficult for them because even using your data was really, really slow. It was quite hard for them to keep on reconnecting. So they had to let the lecturer know that they were having the problem since the bandwidth was hitting almost everyone. So it was quite hard for some of the students.
I was an undergraduate and it's my first year in university. So keeping up was kind of hard since I don't know anyone in the class. Doing the group assignments or partner assignments is kind of a challenging thing to do. I do need to wake up 1 hour before the students in Malaysia because of the time zone difference. Sometimes I just don't feel like opening the camera, you know, to the people in the online classes, and I find face-to-face class more convenient than online classes.
Face-to-face classes have more interaction, and you can actually know how they feel from their tone of voice, their expression. So face-to-face, you have more interaction. You know what's happening. So that's one good thing about face-to-face. But when it comes to online, you tend to not on your camera, so you have to know based on their tone of voice. So it's very hard to know if they're happy or are they sad. For FYP, we have to talk to our clients, so it was really hard to actually communicate with them to know if they're actually happy with the final product. So face-to-face gives us more interaction than online classes.
The whole human contact, direct contact, and to be able to see facial expressions more clearly, because in a sense we can see when there's understanding or when there's confusion, and some of those questions are hard to see through small videos of them, especially if the video cam is not so well set up. But otherwise, for all those issues of difficulty, either with the current topic we are dealing with in the tutorial or questions about assessments, it has been happening where students would say, I'd like to ask some questions. So when the class finishes a little earlier, I hang back and allow them to discuss it.
They would actually help you and communicate with you on time, because there are a lot of students to talk to. So the lecturers try to actually communicate with us and all. They even gave us some consultation hours, because physically we have consultation hours as well. But now they also let us consult them online. And I think that it's good to keep on having this consultation for us students to help us with our assignments and all. So all of them were really consistent and helpful with all the students.
They reply fast and they understand, like, if we email them, they reply fast. If we WhatsApp, they also give their WhatsApp numbers or Telegram numbers so we can reach them faster. So it wasn't a problem to communicate with lecturers.
I'm certainly thankful for how lecturers still try to make studies interesting despite everything being online. They've utilized various platforms such as Kahoot, which I find this application really, really interesting to make the classes more interactive. Although we as students have difficulty in adapting to the new norm, I still feel that as students ourselves, we must appreciate our lecturers' effort, as they are also struggling with this whole new norm thing and are trying their best to make their classes more engaging.
PKPP yang akan bermula pada 10 Jun 2020 hinggalah 31 Ogos 2020.
We understand, because it was for the greater good of the country. So although we were disappointed, we were like, it's okay, at least we can still like go out to eat and everything, and it's not really restricting our freedom that much.
Depressed and sad because they were going to extend it, because I have to stay at home, especially I'll be stuck in my room watching drama or maybe like doing some small activities. So I felt quite depressed and sad at the same time. And also I had some thoughts on deferring my course, because I don't want to be doing my whole semester at home for the whole year. So it's going to be really, really sad if I have to do it at home.
Some of my classmates have actually decided to defer for the next semester and this semester as well. Mostly that's because this sem is very practical heavy. So you get to spend a lot of time in the kitchen compared to other semesters. And the stuff that you do is really advanced also. So if you don't actually get to properly do that, then what's the point?
We are in a skills-based job, and teaching without having the student beside you and actually doing the job together is very difficult. But the program also that is not only learning something, you have to give exposure. When you're at school, you have also the pressure, you have to finish on time, you have to finish your dish, you have to make sure the thing on the fire is not burning, and you can see the students who are not comfortable, you can help them more. So it's really challenging, and unfortunately some aspect of the job is very difficult to evaluate, especially when you are on online learning.
My entire internship, they postponed the whole thing. That has been put on hold. And even if we go back to internship on like around August, I think, we don't even know if it will be the same anymore, because look at what restaurants are doing right now. They are changing their menus, they are simplifying their menus, they are changing a ton of things just because of the pandemic.
The universities were still without this, shall we say, release, from where we were. We have been told that everything was online till the end of December 2020.
it was really hard to accept at first that everything we have to change to this new normal where we have to always keep clean and be cautious. So it was very depressing if like to know that this is actually happening to every one of us. When I first heard the news that the university is going to be online until December, I was very frustrated and sad because I don't want to spend my whole year at home doing my classes online. And it was really unfair for us to do it online because we have hands-on projects to do at campus, and it was just really tiring to know that it's going to be online till December.
Working online is learning a new thing, a new way of teaching, a new way to interfere with the students. So it's bringing you out of your routine, the way you teach for so many years, and now suddenly something happened and you have to learn actually something new. So I think for me, I take it the positive way, and we are today using some different tool of communication. And I take that at a very positive way because it's, of course, it's a challenge, but I like to take up the challenge. And today and every day I learn something new about my job with also teaching the student. So I learn new way of teaching and new tools for teaching. So for me, it's very positive.
One of the things from our surveys it's showing is that the use of the synchronous tools seems to be a winner for both staff and students in getting the interaction. So many of them would be using that, probably sometimes 50% of their class time. Now you would expect that because students need that time in terms of that in teaching large classes. The group in the Centre for Future Learning is the student development, and they've changed, if you like, the face-to-face orientation to an e-orientation, and they've done an amazing job of that. And what they've done is they've tried to keep the richness of interaction and letting students know about their studies at the campus, but also to looking at the idea that you can actually learn a lot of this before you get to the campus. Now, it's not quite the same. It's nice to walk around the campus and see where things are, but it's the best case scenario. And we've got a lot of kudos for that. And these sorts of things in terms of what we've done with students and staff has really led to the reason why TALIS has been recognised in the QS rankings for 5 stars in online learning and teaching. So I think that's particularly pleasing in terms of that side.
Malaysia has lifted most coronavirus restrictions after 3 months in lockdown. People are now free to travel within the country and most businesses are open again. Schools will reopen in phases starting in 2 weeks.
Malaysians are by nature, I think, we toe the line in many ways. It's part of our society. The collectivist tendencies are there where we conform, not 100%, but I say to a larger degree. I always look at things and say to each his own, it worked well for us because the nature of our society. I wouldn't say it was so easy in the beginning. They really had to go and round up people, searching everywhere. But the health ministry, I should say, did a very systematic job.
We just got an email today that the campus will be open on the 20th of July. So, but not everybody will be here. Only 30% capacity as per the ministry has announced a few days ago. So it's pretty surreal. I mean, it's a relief, I would say. But I think for now, it's safe to, some subjects can continue online since it's already been done so for the last 12 weeks. And coming here, I think it's safer to say that social distancing needs to be applied. So a lot of subjects, except for those who are doing their practical and hands-on, should continue on the work classes from home mode.
I felt really glad that I'm allowed to go back to campus because I was really tired of online classes. And although numbers are really low right now, there are risks that it may go up. But overall, I'm really excited to go back.
It's been a slow couple of months with how the situation's been. To see something after experiencing this new normal, to see it come back to somewhat being normal, it's a satisfying feeling because I can actually finally go back to the campus, use all the equipment that I can use. I think the main thing that I can get from being happy that we are able to go back to campus to do work is that I can actually finally finish my degree, but at the same time continue on with my internship, actually having the opportunity that might not be available to some other people at the time if they were doing the internship now or before the pandemic happened. So I feel blessed that I can actually go to campus again.
I feel happy returning back to campus because I get to see my classmates for the first time. Like for the past 3 months, I only see them through screen, so it's kind of like it's not that nice. So seeing them face to face is a really refreshing thing, Yeah.
Coming back to Taylor's means that I could experience hands-on instead of just facing my computer for online classes. So definitely much more satisfied.
We feel so happy to be here because as I'm final year student, I've been here for 2 years and this is my 3rd year. So I have all my memories here. I have my friends. So I'm so glad to be here.